Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the member spotlight. And we sort of use this time on to highlight different members and see how they're doing and check in. And so this morning we are lucky enough to have Sue Rosner with us. Sue, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Rabbi. How are you?
Good. It's obviously different each day, but just happy to wake up each day and see what lies ahead.
Well, I'm glad it's different each day because, boy, for me, sometimes the days are pretty much too much the same.
Yes. Well, I think that I'm maybe lucky in the fact that when you have a 9-month-old puppy and a 4.5-year-old running around, each day definitely tends to be different. The only thing that is guaranteed to me is I know that the dog and the cat at some point will probably get into a little bit of a fight with each other. But that's the only thing that's guaranteed.
Nature.
Yep. Yep. So just wanted to let you know, see if you wanted just to let me know, how long have you been a member at Temple of Aaron?
My husband and I moved to Minnesota from Connecticut in 1997, and we spent 9 to 12 months kind of shopping around conservative synagogues in the Twin Cities area and decided on the Temple of Aaron. So we've been members since then, and I probably got active and doing things on the board, I don't know, maybe early 2000s somewhere. It seems like I was on the board for quite a while.
Oh, very nice. So yeah, so a long time member now, for sure. Maybe not like
Relatively
the
speaking.
others.
Yeah.
Maybe not, I had Barry on and other people who've been lifers pretty much, but still, that's 20 years at a congregation is a long, long time. That's good, and we're very lucky and fortunate to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and I maybe I knew this that you had lived in Connecticut, but where in Connecticut?
I was born in Hartford, and I lived for a number of years and raised my family in Norwalk.
Okay. Nice. So I'm a little bit familiar with it. My father was born in Greenwich and moved when he was under a year old. And I had a lot of friends in college going to school out in New York, a lot of friends from Connecticut in that area.
Yeah.
So I spent some time over there and took many trains and buses into Hartford from Manhattan. So it was a nice area. It was really kind of a nice place to be. Spend some time.
Yeah, I enjoyed living in Connecticut.
Yeah, a little bit different than the Midwest, but it's the East Coast.
It is indeed.
So in that time of being a member of Temple of Aaron, we've done lots of different programming, had lots of different service experiences. And I'm curious if you could maybe highlight one or two of sort of your fondest memories while being a member at Temple of Aaron.
Well, we had a very large year-long celebration of being in the building for a significant length of time. And so there was a whole year of events that went on. And two of those events were particularly significant for me. One was the first was a kickoff Saturday night dinner, big production, which I co-chaired. My husband and I co-chaired with two of our friends, and that came off really, really nicely. We kind of set the bar high for the other events of the year, and so we were proud and we felt good. And the other thing was, during that year, I actually studied for and became a bat mitzvah.
Oh, wow.
For the first time, something I had not had the opportunity to do as a child. And that was particularly significant for me personally. And then I went on after that to get my golden kippah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah. To be able to do a bat mitzvah as an adult is something that's special. It's something that I had worked with people on when I was in LA. And it's just something that a little extra meaning, not to say that when we're kids that it doesn't have meaning, but I think it's a different sort of meaning. Right? It's a different,
very different, very
right?
different. And
there
was a group of us. There were 11 of us, and we studied together, and 6-7 months, and we completed that, and it was really pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. April did hers right before we actually moved here, and that was something that was great. And that was also when we announced to my father's congregation that we were moving to Minnesota, because everything had just become pretty much official the week of. And we had little Vikings helmets on the centerpieces at my father's congregation to let people know that that's where we were moving to.
Oh, very clever.
Yeah, so it was good that April wanted to do it because she wanted to make sure that when Aria has hers, she's going to be able to sort of relate to it not being the easiest. And so that was something that was very important to her. And I give applause to anybody who decides to become a bat mitzvah as an adult, or bar mitzvah as well. It's just a fantastic thing. And so, as we know, our lives have changed a lot, been uprooted a lot in terms of maybe our routines. And there are probably some things that we knew we were going to be missing during this time. Probably first and foremost, seeing other people, being able to interact with other people. But as time has gone on, I think we've sort of probably realized that there were other things that we unexpectedly started to miss. One that I have shared before is that, when you walk past someone and you're just so accustomed to smiling as a nice general way of saying hello or just checking in when you're within a certain distance, now there's masks and you can't smile. The idea of facial expression is pretty much all into your eyes. And like me, I happen to wear sunglasses a lot. So even then, you can't really see any emotion from me. So
Right.
I'm curious what sort of an unexpected thing that you're missing is during that time.
Well, I mean, certainly the routine of seeing people and hugging people and being social. I missed the Temple of Aaron community because I went to Florida for the winter. So my last time at services had been in December. And so it was a long time coming back. But I found that while I was home, I would often get invited to share Shabbat dinner with a family at the temple. And my contribution was often to bake a dessert. And I got great pleasure in doing that. And they seemed to get pleasure in eating it. And it was a lovely, mutual admiration society there. And I missed it. And so one day I started baking, and I sent them a text, and the families in 3 different homes, and said, I'm coming by to leave something on your doorstep. And it was just a wonderful thing for me able to do, because sharing a part of yourself, when you cook or you bake, you create. And certainly it was well received, but it was really more of a gift for me than it was for them.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, that is true. As you said, being able to share a meal or share any sort of time with someone else, that's something within our tradition that, of course, is just so prevalent, whether it be from Shabbat dinner to Seder to anything. And just joining together over food is so magical, and where I think the idea of experiential Judaism and having that experience is actually the thing that make us have a strong connection to our heritage. And to be missing out on that, we can do Zoom dinners, but it's not the same. And so being able to share actually like that personal piece of you and the cooking is really, and baking is amazing. That's a great thing to be doing. That's fantastic. And so with the baking, that was fantastic sort of use of time. But sometimes we, probably all of us at some point or another, didn't utilize our time maybe in the most productive of ways, by sometimes maybe binge watching an entire series of a television show on Netflix in a couple of days. Or I know myself and April, there were a couple of days where we were on Amazon on our phones quite often and looking for something new to sort of maybe brighten up our day, but also maybe something fun to have. So like we bought an air fryer over during this time, and I've been using that as sort of a fun thing to do, and also lots of crafts for Aria as well. But I'm curious if there's any thing that you've bought that you might not have bought had you not been spending so much time in your house, or anything that's sort of wacky that you just bought because it was fun, because maybe there was a deal on it. And if there's any television series or movies or anything that you've watched that you really enjoyed and recommend, or just was sort of something that you had not necessarily expected to watch one day.
Well, I'm not a huge TV watcher, but one of the things that I have done in terms of shopping is I've redecorated my entire living room.
Oh.
I got rid of all of the furniture that was in there, and everything that's in there now is brand new. And the one wacky thing of the furniture that I bought is I bought a chair that is bright yellow.
Oh,
And it makes me smile because I've got a piece of sunshine every time I walk into that room.
that's lovely.
And so I've enjoyed the process of redecorating. It kept me occupied. I did most of the shopping online, um, and I've certainly had a lot of packages delivered. So
Yes, it is.
now we're done, and so I need to figure out what else I'm going to do that doesn't involve constantly being on Amazon or different websites to shop.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's true. The packages, it's crazy, especially living in an apartment building here. The number of times that we got emails over the sort of shutdown phase of please collect your packages within 24 hours. The room is
Mhm.
overflowing, and almost like having to like dig and swim within packages to try and find my own. Even though our room is pretty set up nicely, it's still there were a lot of people that were home, a lot of people making orders. And so it was kind of almost amusing that you couldn't even get the door open always as easily. And God bless those people who were working and delivering and sort of out there and doing that and sort of allowing
Indeed.
our our new desires to keep shopping, making it a reality and us receiving it. That's something that is, I think, often sort of overlooked for a lot of us thinking about it. And so thank you to them if anybody is watching. um, and then one last thing that I kind of want to ask is hobbies and skills. You know, some people decided to really lean into sort of cooking or baking, like you sort of alluded to earlier. I remember at the beginning of this, the number of times I saw people saying that they were making sourdough bread as their new sort of skill and hobby that they were trying to do. And for April herself, she started to get back, she started to crochet a lot more, make a lot of blankets. And so I'm curious if there's any hobby or skill that you might have picked up or that you really, let's say, went down the rabbit hole in and really just started to do it way more than you were before.
Well, I'm a knitter, and I had what one could conservatively say is an abundance of yarn. And so one thing that I did do with the help of a dear friend who was also a knitter is we sorted out my stash of yarn and realistically looked at what I was never going to use again and have passed that on to a neighbor and to a women's shelter. But I've been knitting. And the object of the game is to try and knit something using yarn I already have. And so I just completed a sweater for my 5-year-old granddaughter. And so now I'm looking at, I have a whole tote that is labeled works in progress. So I pulled that out last night and started to look through there and think, okay, what can I realistically pick up so that I can finish so that the works in progress tote actually decreases in contents.
Yes, I'm familiar with having some of that extra yarn and stuff around. April has been looking at a lot of her, so I'm like, okay, what can I make with these colors and with this type and what
Correct.
patterns work and all that. And she has been trying to figure it out. And plenty of orders have gone through Joann's and Michael's, but that's been tough because it's difficult. I didn't really think about this before until I saw April doing it. Is that it's hard to match and really know without actually being in the store and actually being able to hold and look at the yarn.
Yes, and there are local yarn shops where she can make an appointment
Ah,
so
that
that she can go in and safely shop. And she
that
can call me or email me and I'll let her know.
that is great. That is, I will definitely make sure that she knows that, and because I know she's been enjoying it. She's been really enjoying it. She did it a lot before Ari was born and made a lot of blankets and hats and
Mhm.
stuff for her. But now she sort of had the opportunity to continue to do it. It was something that sort of just like a peaceful sort of thing for her to do while we might have been binge watching or probably were binge watching something, to be honest. But so Sue, thank you so much for being on the Member Spotlight. It was great to have you on and to learn a little bit more about what's been going on with you during this crazy, wacky time that we're all sort of going through. And just thank you again for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you as well, Rabbi.
Of course. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And tune in for next week's Member Spotlight next Monday. Bye.